We are live. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to another episode of A Smudgeon of Curmudgeon. I am Bill Adams, and on this side, since we switched, is my bearded life mate over here, Mr. Dewey Conway.
Hello, everybody.
Hello. And today we are joined by the wonderful AJ Kelvin. Hi,
Hi.
AJ. Welcome. And well, we got Tim in the chat. Hey, Tim. How you doing? Tim's your bestie. We love Tim. So what we do, Alex is here. Let's say hi to him first before we do that. Before we start, so Dewey, gear it up. Are you ready to bring AJ into our shtick?
Oh, wow. Oh, we're getting right into it.
Yeah, we're getting right into it. We have a shtick. Don't worry.
Okay.
He calls it a shtick.
Yeah, I call it a shtick.
I call it a way of life. It is it is rating your curmudgeon, is what we call it, because this is a smudgeon of curmudgeon. So just a little bit of curmudgeon, because we're not old, but we're old enough to be curmudgeons. So we're just entering into the phase. And honestly, most days, every day really is a way of life with curmudgeons. And so we ask our guests to come on to be honorary curmudgeons with us and to rate themselves and how they're feeling on the day that they come to us as a curmudgeon on a scale of 1 to 10. So I'm going to bring up our scale. I don't know if you've seen this before or not, but we're going to try it out. Okay, here we go. So I have the perennial curmudgeons in the background there. Stadler and Waldorf, the Muppets, the critics. Bill and I have talked about how they remind us of us.
Why does the one look so cracked out right now? His eyes look squinty and
Oh, you mean Waldorf? Yeah, that's Waldorf.
I don't know which one's which, to be honest.
Well, the short one's Waldorf, the tall one is Stadler, and I identify more with the as you put it, the cracked out one, the one with the eye. I'm always the short one. But we rate ourselves from 0 to 10. So 0 being, how's your day been? Has it been, a 0 is like, yeah, I've had an okay day. It's all right. And a 10 is full on. I'm ready to chunk some people through some hoops. So I'm going to start with you. How would you rate your curmudgeon today on a scale of 0 to 10?
Probably a 3 today.
Okay. Well, let's see. We're gonna move you here to a 3.
Any crack eyes, man. That's like
any particular reason why?
So I work in a very regulated science lab, and I got stuck reviewing a 40-some page laboratory investigation today. So yeah.
And it's only a 3? Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that's surprising. How are you with 3? I worked in a lab for years. How are you with 3 with that?
I mean, you can be a 3. That's fine.
Yeah,
that's fine.
I usually try not to be too cranky about stuff, but
all right.
If this had been last week, it would have been much higher because we had an audit, and audits
are the worst. Oh my god!
Audit is instant 10. Instant.
A2LA? Is that what ISO?
Yeah.
ISO?
It wasn't one of the agencies, it was a client audit. So
those are the worst.
But they're going off of USP and FDA, and yeah.
I know all about those. Unfortunately.
Well, Bill, how about you? Where are you today?
Let's go with the 7. Go with the 7. A little low for me. Yeah, cover up my little Night of the Roxbury guy over there going on.
Ooh, yeah. Fine. Why are you a 7? Only a 7. What's up? What's going on there?
Well, we're getting stuck doing a garage sale this weekend. So like I've been doing nothing but garage sale crap while resetting up my office because I've been kicked out of my office for the last year. Finally get to come back into it. So that's why I'm kind of nice and happy. But then garage sale, meet in the middle at 7.
Is it like just you guys doing the garage sale, or are you like teaming
Whole
up with
town, whole
anybody?
town. Lauren signed up
Uh,
for it, and I'm just like, all right, let's get rid of all the crap we don't need.
oh, it's one of those. Okay. Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna surprise everybody, I think, that knows me. I'm in a really good mood. So I'm
Oh,
gonna I'm gonna put myself at a 6. I think that's the lowest I've ever been. I'm in a really good mood. Ever since yesterday, I've been in a really good mood
yeah, because FIFO's over.
because it's over.
But you guys had a finalist, which is so cool.
Oh,
It
yes.
was, but it was very stressful, and
I bet.
it was a long journey. But
Yeah.
we're glad it's over.
Glad it's over. It was stressful, but that just kind of it was like lifting a bag of rocks off your back. It's like, oh, it's okay. We know.
Yeah,
Now we know. I love
Dewey's
it,
Dewey's
Alex.
secretly filled with rage. That's what.
Filled that's as much rage as I'll show, right?
Exactly. Dewey's always happy until he
I
texts me.
I'm a happy curmudgeon. I really am. I it's strange. It's always strange. My mom used to say that. Why are you always so happy but grumpy at the same time? What's going on with you? And I'd be like, I don't know. Get off my back, mom.
Okay.
All right, all right. Let me throw it.
Yeah, maybe Mike. I'm not sure yet. We'll see. I don't know if I want to go through it again or not.
Yeah, he'd have to do it by himself this time.
Yeah. But okay, enough about us. So AJ, welcome to a Smudgeon or Curmudgeon. You just got thrown into the deep end on the curmudgeon scale. So why don't, for those who are watching or will watch the replay, don't know about you, give us a little pitch. Tell us about your books. Say whatever you would like to say. The world is yours.
All right. I'm usually really bad at introducing myself, but I will try to be better tonight. I'm AJ Calvin. I am from Colorado, for those who don't know. And when I'm not writing, I'm a microbiologist. So
Wow.
that's fun sometimes. Not so much today or last week, but most of the time it's good. Most people know me for my epic fantasy series, The Kain Legacy, which begins with Exile. And that series is complete. It's all available. And fun thing, I'm going to be putting it on sale at the end of May. I shouldn't say the end of the month because it's still April, but end of May.
Technically, in a couple hours.
So I'll be posting about that later, but there's that. Let's see. I have another epic fantasy series that doesn't quite get as much attention. My theory is because it doesn't have dragons. But I think it's fun. And that's The Relics of War, which begins with the Moon's Eye. And this character gets a lot of people's attention. He is half scorpion.
Yeah.
So
Scorpion people.
Yep.
That
I
is
guess
so
I should
insane.
mention the upcoming sci-fi too. While I'm talking about books.
We got them all. Dewey comes prepared. We got everything.
All right, cool. So,
so there's also these, right? So this is also
yeah. So those are both related to the Relics of War. Serpentis is a standalone novel, which I honestly think is one of my best books.
Wow.
But I can't seem to get people to really be interested in it, and I don't know what's why. It's just like, please read it. It's a standalone. You don't have to read the series. But
I loved it. I mean, I liked it. I don't know why.
Well, I appreciate the people who do pick it up because I really, really, like how that one came out, even though it's a bit darker than most of my other stuff. And The Ballad of Alchemy and Steel is a novella related to the Relics of War. It doesn't really work as a standalone as well, but if you know some of the characters' backstories, it's a supplement. We'll say that it's fun.
Awesome.
But anyway, the next release I have coming is Within the Revolution, which is a standalone also, but it is a space opera. So,
Now for something different.
yeah. What's interesting about Wraith is it's the story I've probably been working on longer than anything else, because I've had some of these characters around since I was like 13. And
Oh.
I just I kept working at it and picking at it and trying to get a story together that made sense. And then I finally got something. So this was a, I don't know, it's very personal for me. So
And this is a standalone, you said?
yeah, it's a standalone.
Because I remember you saying something in the FanFi chat that you don't release anything until the series is completely written, correct?
Yeah,
So
that's
for
exactly
like
what
the
I
Kane
do.
Legacy, you had all 4 books written before you released Exile.
Yep.
Wow.
I didn't
That
start doing that on purpose because I was trying to query that series for a number of years. And as I was querying the first book, I kept writing, and then it was
Even though
eventually
they tell
done,
you
and I
not to
still
do
wasn't.
that.
So then I was like, you know what? My other series worked okay, indie, so I'm gonna just stop trying to query this and go ahead and publish it too.
And the Relics of War was indie published how long ago?
That's a complicated story.
oh
um,
well, here we are.
it was sort of kind of published, the first book in 2008, but it was just like a very limited number, and it was a gift sort of deal. Somebody gifted me this opportunity to publish, so it was like a very limited thing, and I didn't know what I was doing back then.
Yeah.
And so by the time I was getting closer to publishing the KN Legacy, I decided I would republish the Relics of War on my own, and I got new cover artwork and revised it pretty heavily before that.
So when you say gift, this is going to sound like a vanity. Did you get vanity pressed? So did I. Don't
Yes,
worry.
but
It
the
happened to me
person
too.
who paid for it didn't realize what they were doing, and I didn't know that either until after the fact, and then it was kind of a nightmare to get out of that situation. But
Yeah.
I did, and we're here now.
So I'm sorry to
Yeah.
hear that happened to you, but I'm glad you pushed forward. At least you didn't let it stop you.
Yeah.
And so the order of this is Relics of War as far as publishing goes,
Mm-hmm.
and then Kane
The
Legacy.
Relics of War, and then The Ballad of Alchemy and Steel came out when I was republishing. And then I published the KN Legacy, and kind of halfway in the middle of that decided I would release Serpentis too.
Well, I have one more too, because when I went to Goodreads and Amazon, I was like, "Whoa, what? Look at all these books! Wow!" We've had folks on, including ourselves. Like I had just one, and then Bill has 3 in one, and then people we've had on have had like 1, 2, or 4 maybe. But you've really, I mean, you have your story out is what I'm saying. Is like
Yeah.
I was really impressed by it, and you had one more.
Yeah, Hunted. I always forget to mention Hunted.
Well, how
It's
come?
it's an urban fantasy, and it's one of those books that people either love it or they hate it. and this was actually my first true indie published book, and like I don't know why I forget to mention it. I just I don't know.
Your mind.
Well,
Um,
okay, so
So
someone who would love urban fantasy, though,
yeah,
what?
if people are into urban fantasy, um, I think that group really enjoys it when I remember to mention it and stuff. um,
That's how many books you've written. You've forgotten about some. I mean,
that's a good skill to have. I mean, I wish I could forget about some of my stuff, and it just came out.
that's
um,
awesome.
yeah, Hunted is a bunch of the story is set in Seattle, which is why the skyline is as it is on the cover. And that one is the last big in-person event I did was last spring. I went up to Casper, Wyoming, and they had a Comic-Con going, and that was the most popular book. Like people saw it and they're like, "Oh, is this based in Seattle? I need this." And I was like, "But we're in Wyoming." Like I didn't realize there would be such an appeal.
Close enough, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah,
I mean,
I
maybe
was gonna say,
because it's recognizable for them, and it's more of like a simpler transition if they're not a full fantasy reader. Maybe I don't know.
so this main character looks like she has some kind of smoke going around. Like what's going on there?
Um, she has the ability to summon demons,
Oh,
and there's actually one sitting on top of one of the buildings in the background. One of
yeah,
the
I
demons.
see it back there, way back there
Oh,
at the far top left. Ah,
yeah.
very cool. Okay, I'm gonna take that off. So that I mean, you have a ton of books out. You have a website. It's all set up. We have it linked in this description so we can get
Oh, thank
people
you.
to go over there.
Yep. We're
Um,
official. We got it in the description below.
yeah, do the best we can to help out. But before we get in, Bill, do you want? We do ask
Hit 'em.
questions.
Hit the questions. We have another
So,
shtick.
but, and
Okay.
this one is yeah. Oh, whoops, wrong button. Hold
Wrong
on.
button. We're professional. We do this in browsers too, right?
I'm trying. I'm at a
Come on,
6.
Dewey.
Come on. Okay, here we go. All right. So this is how this works. We have 6 questions for you. These are questions devised by the lovely Bill below me, and we have a spinner here, so it's totally random. They're 1 through 6. If it lands on one of those numbers, you get asked that question. The old man, if it lands on that, this is something we've been trying these last couple times. If it lands there, you get to ask us a question
Okay.
if you have one. I mean, whatever you'd
Any
like.
question? Keep it PG.
Yeah. I don't. I think we're safe. Okay, let's go. It is going to land on 5.
I don't even remember what order these are in.
All right, so let's see what number 5 is. If not fantasy or sci-fi, which genre would you most like to write in? And which one would you least like to write in?
I've always been intrigued by attempting horror, but I don't know if I have it in me to do it right.
Well, Serpentis has a little bit of horror in it, so
Well, yeah, that's true. That's true.
especially it was the psychological part of it.
Well,
So
what?
you
Why?
got
Why
it.
would you want to write? Are you a fan of horror, like horror
I am.
movies or books?
Books mostly, but yeah.
Who
I
would be an author that you read?
well, I've read a lot of Stephen King, which
Hmm.
is probably fairly common. Probably the last one I read that I really, really got into was Hex, and I know I'm gonna butcher the last name of that author. He's Dutch. It was Thomas, and it starts with an O. I'm not gonna even try pronouncing
Okay.
it, but yeah, that one was really good. Least like to write in. Oh, I don't know. Probably anything that's like too grounded in reality. I don't know. I need the escape.
The others, basically.
Something like fried green tomatoes or something.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah,
man.
or steel magnolias.
Dewey's favorite movies he's talking about right now.
I mean, come on, poor Julia Roberts. Wait, or is it? It's Daryl Hannah. Poor Daryl Hannah. Anyway, sorry. Okay, I'm getting back.
Hit the wheel again, Dewey.
Number 3, we got the bag of gold. Let's see.
I think this is a good one.
If you could be an NPC in any video game, which would it be and what would your role be?
Oh, wow. I know what characters I usually play in video games, but NPC, I never thought about that. The characters I usually play tend to be like the melee fighters dual wield because that's fun.
So you're just a brutal run in, swing first, ask questions later type.
Yeah, pretty much.
So you're Leroy Jenkins then, huh?
What was that?
You're Leroy Jenkins then, huh?
Leroy.
Yeah, it could be
Jenkins.
But as far as an NPC, I don't know. Maybe
That's
the
a strange
blacksmith
question.
that sells people weapons, convinces them, hey, you need to go fight this way.
So, as far can you think? Say you're a non-human NPC. Like, what non-human type NPC would you be? Because that can amp up the flavor. I would want to be a goblin, just to tell you. So a goblin or something that specializes in weaponry, and I can say, you want to buy this for me?
I don't know. My mind keeps going to like orc.
Okay, there you go. You can be an orc. You see, you're the melee fighter. Whenever I play these games, I'm always the hunter. Always, I'm always
I'm an archer too. I love picking people off with the bows
from a distance.
Like I played
one that always plays the mage type. So.
Oh yeah,
like,
yeah. Or
you can go annoy the creature, and then I'll sit back here and throw fire at it.
Love it. All righty, I'm gonna stop sharing. We'll save the other 1, 2, 3, 4 for after we ask some more, learn a little bit more about you. You mentioned you were a microbiologist, so I have a feeling I know the answer, but has that influenced your books somehow?
Probably not as much as people would think. I mean, I've always been fascinated with biology, so I do incorporate a lot of like general biology stuff. Like with Serpentis, since Bill has read that one, I kind of went down a rabbit hole of researching constrictor biology before I wrote that.
So there's snake people in that world, Dewey.
Okay.
As well as scorpion people.
See, that's what I was drawn to, as a scorpion hybrid person here. Like, what? Certainly, your background had to influence that, or just like, what happened there? Like, how did you not? It's not every day that people wake up and go, "Oh, I know a character with a scorpion tail. I can write that." What?
How those people came about originally is I took a mythology class in high school, which I loved, and we read myths from a lot of places that I wasn't familiar with. It wasn't just the Greek ones that everybody knows. And we read a Babylonian myth about the Fountain of Youth, and they had scorpion men that protected the Fountain of Youth, and I was like, that's a really cool idea. So that's kind of
You
how that
watched The
one
Mummy
happened.
2 and saw The Rock and the bad CGI at the end of the movie.
No. Oh my gosh, that's a terrible movie. The Scorpion King.
It is a bad movie. I had people comparing my books to that for a little while, and I had never seen it, and I was like, what are you talking about? So we finally watched it, my husband and I was like, how are they getting this comparison? Like,
Well, The Mummy 2 is a good movie. It's just very bad CGI at the very end where The Rock is half scorpion, half rock, but it's CGI. It looks like a bad video game.
okay, I'd have to watch that one again because that's been a long time. I didn't remember that part. But like the references I was getting in some of my
From the
reviews was
Scorpion
the
King
Scorpion
itself.
King, and I was like, I don't see where they're coming from here.
Oh,
He's
yeah,
not the scorpion person yet until the movie,
yeah.
the Mummy 2. But
The Mummy 2 was terrible. I mean, that part of it was like it took you completely out of the movie
oh yeah,
because it was the Rock's face, but it looked like 1990s Tomb Raider. It was just it was awful. Like, oh my god. Oh, let me go ahead. All righty. Well, I ask one question. I'm going to ask another one, and that is, I always about the art. I'm drawn to your covers, and I wanted to find out. You mentioned that not it wasn't this one. It was on the Relics of War that you had redone the covers for them,
Mhm.
and just looking closely at them. And when I was looking at the Kane legacy too, I saw some similarities there. But
It's the same artist.
yeah, that's what I was going to ask because it seems like a similar style.
Mhm.
Um, to tell us about that process of the art. Like, what made you? I mean, this is a very bold move, in my opinion. It's an effective move, and that you've created that consistency of image across the four books, but progressing through time. You can see just
Mhm.
little details changing over time. And so, how did that come about? What made you decide to go this route with your covers?
Jamie Noble is the artist who he
Okay.
did the Relics of War, and then later when I decided to publish the Kain Legacy, I went back to him because I really enjoyed working with him. And originally, so the main character in this series is what they call a skin changer. He's half human, but his father was a dragon mage, so he can shift forms. And I wanted to have some visual representation of both of his faces, if you will. So the dragon and the guy on the cover is the same person.
oh okay.
Um, and so I explained that to Jamie, and he's like, "So what if we did this?" And he kind of like he's so fun to work with because he's in the UK, so we have to do everything virtual.
Hmm.
And he would like share his screen over Zoom, and he'd just be like sketching it there. And I'm like, I don't have this skill. It's really cool to watch people who can draw and
Same.
like do stuff. And then we were talking for a little bit, and he's like, okay, so I have this idea, we can do this, and then the background, let's make that unique for each book. So we took a scene from each book to use as the background for those. So
Really
Yeah,
cool.
it's really great. It's I think, a very effective story, bit of sequential storytelling, and because you see that progression of story just with the covers themselves. And if we look at, um, let's see, this one here. So I was instantly drawn to the Moon's Eye. I don't know. It was just something about this cover that was just so
It's like
cool.
classic video game cover too, like
Yeah,
Baldur's Gate or something. Like the just
but
screams
But I will
fantasy.
say, like, the title too, like the Moon's Eye, the Relics of War, that whole little graphic right there is so just centered in fantasy and dungeons,
mhm.
and it was a great choice. Did he make that? Did he do this as well? Like all
Yeah,
of them?
he made that decision too. So when this was the first project I worked with him on, and I found him on Reedsy because I was like, I don't know who to work with. I don't know who's good. And I just started looking and I was like, I like his art. So we'll see if, he's has the time and the interest to work with me. And so I was telling him a little bit about this series, and this one's more like a classic fantasy, epic fantasy feel to it. And I was, telling him about some of the characters and all that. And then the first two books, those are definite scenes from those books. The third one, I mean, I think 60% of that book is like massive epic battle. So it was just
Okay.
two of the characters on opposing sides fighting there. But he came up with that idea for the title thing because I mentioned the relics are magical relics that are very important to each book. So he went and the Moon's Eye is that gemstone.
Yeah.
The Talisman of DeLuca is it's an eagle shaped thing, and then the last one is known as the Fire Blade. It's a sword. So yeah, I was telling
It's
him
so
about these
effective.
things, and he's the one that really pulled all of that together.
Well,
That's
that
why I have Dewey do my stuff because he's the creative one when it comes to that stuff.
well, thanks, Bill. Stop. I was
Yeah,
gonna say, I love how effective it is, and I'd be curious. I'm not going to ask you to share, but I'd be curious what the previous covers were like.
Not good.
All right. But you didn't have as much creative control over it, did you?
No.
Okay, yeah, and that's where it comes down to, is that when you have, as an indie author, that creative control to be there every step of the way, you can do stuff like this, And so anyway, I just think these are great. But it's very different from this one. So did he do this cover too?
No, I worked with
Okay.
J. Caleb Designs with this cover. Just because his stuff works, I felt a little bit better with a science fiction
Yeah.
feel.
Okay.
So
And it still has that, and I don't want to go back to the video game, but it still has a video game cover feel, which is perfect for what you're trying to sell, or at least in my opinion. I mean, this just looks like a fun shoot 'em up, basically.
yeah, there's definitely some shooting.
Well, I would hope he has. So he's ready with his two weapons there.
Yeah, I've got a Halo kind of vibe. I love it. This is May 22nd. Is this when what's the date
It's
when this one's
June
coming out?
17th.
June 17th. Sorry, June 17th. So it's coming out in June.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Well, it's time to ask some random questions. As if my questions aren't random enough. These are really random. Let's go. Let's go over to the thingy where, I lost it. All right, I have to do it again.
Good job, Dewey.
Hey, I get paid with gummy bears.
That's right, you do.
So
I send them to you.
you get gummy bear quality. Okay, here we go.
There's nothing wrong with gummy bears.
Nope.
Oh, he'll talk all night about gummy bears, so don't get him started.
Number 2, the crown. If you had to be part animal, like in your books, what animal would you choose? Oh, there we go.
Perfect timing.
I really like my scorpion people.
I mean, they are the ones that were in Serpentis were pretty fun. And that you said, and that's that character. Gosh, I apologize, I can't remember his name. Is that the same main character of the Relics of War?
I'm trying to remember. So there's a couple different ones that are
The warrior, the
encountered
warrior
in
one
Serpentis.
that saves.
Vardak at the end. He's
Yeah.
the one on the covers of the Relics of War.
Yeah, he's the one that saves Owen at the end of the book, right? Yeah.
Yep.
So that was the main character of the trilogy.
One of them, yeah.
One of them.
The trilogy has multiple points of view.
Okay, so I'm going to have to ask, if you're a scorpion person in today's world,
In
you know,
today's world. Okay.
how do you handle going to like Kroger and Best Buy? And, you're going to go to Freebirds or Taco Cabana or somewhere, and you got this. How do you handle that? Would that be an issue? You think?
Yeah, it could
It
be.
might be. It might be.
It's like,
I think the more important question is how many times a day are you going to have to stop yourself from stabbing somebody with your tail?
Exactly. It might just have a mind of its own, like, oh, oops, sorry. I didn't mean to. Oh, yeah, you just said something that kind of, yeah. Okay, well, let's go. I would wonder, like, I'm going to derail it. Bill, what would you be? Like, what part animal? If you could be a part animal, part
I don't know
human.
how it would work. It would be cool to be like part tiger.
Ooh.
But I don't know how it would work because you would look kind of like a centaur, but on like tiger legs would be kind of funky looking. So I don't know.
That would be interesting. Then maybe you could have just one eye of a
Why?
tiger.
I would want to have like the jaws and
AJ got it. she got the joke. Well, let's see. I'll ask myself, what Dewey, if you had to be part animal, what animal would you? I think I would want, because I'm fascinated by them, I'd want to be part platypus. Now I know Perry the platypus is one of my heroes. I love Perry the platypus from Phineas and Ferb. But imagine if you were part platypus. I mean, the powers you would have. You realize that they just have an esophagus, like they just swallow, like they don't have a stomach. That's to just go straight. So they're always in shape. I would love to be a platypus. Part platypus. There we go.
part
Okay.
platypus.
Yeah, not the whole thing. All
See,
right,
we asked
here.
the hard hitting stuff here, AJ. That's what we're here for.
Hard hitting. Oh no.
Speaking of,
ooh. So this means I have to ask you a question?
Yeah.
or you could just ask a question in general. We could talk about whatever you want to do. Or you could decline. You could feel free to decline if you don't have anything.
All right. So what book are you currently reading?
Well, me, I am reading The Pawns of Havoc by Dave Lawson, our friend in WWP and in FanFi. It's a prequel novella to his main series, a book series, The Envoys of War. And it's a little bit darker, which is my taste. Whereas Envoys is much more comedic, more Pratchett style, where that's not like my usual cup of tea. This prequel is a little bit darker. It's still got the banter and fun, but it's a little bit darker. So I'm enjoying it a little bit more.
That's hard to imagine, though, with Dave.
Right.
He's always so
That's
fun.
why we were joking in the chat for a Secret Scribes chat. They're like, one lady was like, "Oh, it's dark as AF," but she spelled it out. I was like, "No, let's amend it. It's dark AF for Dave Lawson." it's not that dark.
So I am reading Major Domo.
Okay.
Victory of Sphinx.
Yeah, so this is by Tim Carter. We talked to him a couple of weeks ago. He is the winner of the Sphinx
The novella.
indie novella stuff. Yeah, a great guy to talk to. A lot of fun. But yeah, this is fun. It's fun. It's a fun book.
I think you probably like it, AJ. It's a good little novella that's D&D based, but it's got a lot of humor, but then there's a lot of heart in it too, like emotions. I highly suggest Major Domo. It's a good one.
I'll have to check it out sometime.
Did you show Tim's comment here?
Oh,
that he would be part dinosaur. Okay, I just want to make sure. Okay, we're gonna do one more. Here we go. Thank you for playing along, AJ, with us. Uh, Alrighty, number one. Oh, the chalice.
Yeah.
What's the coolest thing you've seen scuba diving? Have you seen a Meg?
I've not seen a Meg.
Damn.
Good. I'm
Closest thing
glad.
I've seen was a hammerhead shark. And it's a story that I tease my husband about still because it was the end of our dive. We had seen a couple really big sea turtles and stuff, and I was trying to get him to take pictures, and then we're getting close to getting back to the boat, and this hammerhead goes up above the group. And I'm looking at it, I want him to take a picture because he's got the underwater camera, and he's just going like this. What are you doing? So we get it back up to the boat, and he's like, the battery died. Halfway through the dive, the battery died.
Oh.
How big was that? They're like what, 6 foot long? Is that like?
Yeah, it was probably about a 6 foot, but it's just so cool when it's like swimming above you and like silhouetted. Like that's the coolest thing ever.
I love that you use the word
as
cool.
long as they're not attacking you.
Yeah. So the more important question here is, have you been back in the water since?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, that would be it for me. No.
Dewey's like, nope, I'm out.
No, I grew up in Corpus Christi, down here, South Texas. We go to the beach. Well, I would be forced to go to the beach, and we would. I mean, sand. There's so much sand. Oh, anyway, so I went swimming one time. I walked out swimming. I waded out into the water, and something rubbed up against my leg. That was the last time. I've
not been in the water since.
I have no idea what. Yeah, I haven't had a bath since. That was it for me. I admire people who scuba dive because that's so. That's very brave. You're very out of your element with that. So
I love being in the water. I don't know. It's just like a whole different world.
Wow.
There. It's so cool. Unfortunately in Colorado, like we usually have to travel if we want to dive. You can dive in some of the local reservoirs in like August. Otherwise it's too cold, but the water's always murky and you can't really see anything. So
we used to have a family. Our family had boats for years and years and years when I was growing up, and like we would go in Lake Michigan, because I live in the Chicago area, and there's nothing there besides like little tiny fish and stuff. Nothing bad, but I had a Dewey situation, like something like swam between my legs, and I was scared crapless.
Yeah,
like. Even when we go to Florida and stuff, I'd be like, I'm not going too far out. Like, I've seen Jaws too many times. I don't want to
see. That's the thing.
Like I do draw the line. If I know there are bull sharks or great whites in that area, I won't get in the water. Like those are sharks I don't want to mess with.
Yeah, and that's very wise because they don't see you as the investigative scuba diving enjoying your time. They see you as like yum. Ooh, it's like Whataburger. So an interesting fact though, when that event happened to me, we had just got HBO. So this is like way back in the 80s. So we just got HBO, and one of the first movies that went on HBO was Jaws. And my father, in all of his infinite wisdom, me being 9 or 10 at the time, said, "Let's watch Jaws. That's fine. You're fine with it." And of course, that just you're like, "There's no way I'm going in the water." Anyway, so
Alex,
traumatized student, traumatized kid here. All right, let's see. We have. Let me take this off here.
Tim, of course, Tim wants to hug the shark.
Why?
Because that's what he likes to do.
Well, I would hug a dolphin. I think
dolphins are cool, though.
Did you know?
Manatee? the sea cow.
Yeah, the manatee. I don't know about manatees, but a dolphin. Did you know that they use pufferfish as like a drug? Have you ever heard this?
I
So
didn't
so
know that.
they'll find a pufferfish and they'll attack it like with their snout and make it puff up. And then when they start hitting it around like a balloon in the water, like between like a couple dolphins, and it releases a toxin that gets them intoxicated. Look it up.
One time, we're getting way off topic here, but I got a pufferfish story. We went deep sea fishing in Florida, and one of the people on there caught a pufferfish, and that's not one you want to keep because it's not, edible really. So the captain took it and blew it up like into its mouth, blew it up, and then he popped it like or like he hit it like a volleyball back into the ocean.
That's terrible.
It was very funny though.
I'm sure it was.
And I was like 12, so of course I thought it was the greatest thing ever.
Oh my gosh. Okay. So I guess we need to talk about books because we're kind of getting off topic. But I do want to ask a question, which is about your worlds with 3 different kinds of books. You have your sci-fi that's coming out, and you have your fantasy books. Like with the fantasy, what's your magic? Like, what's your magic system? Like stuff. Like if I'm a fantasy reader and I'm all in, I love magic and magic systems. Like what kind of magic system do you have in your books?
It's like with the Can Legacy, there's magic and like there's some rules to it, but I don't get super in depth with like how they're casting or
Hmm.
like I know there's some books out there where they have a lot of like components they have to deal with to cast the magic and stuff, and to me it feels too much like my real life job. Like
You don't want to read a
reading just
textbook.
whatever in the laboratory, and I'm like, we're just gonna kind of just have fun with the magic thing and not be super strict about all of that. So if that makes
Okay.
any
You're not a
sense.
Brandon Sanderson, Brent Weeks type of magic writer.
Probably not. I actually haven't read any of Sanderson's stuff yet. I have a couple of them on my Kindle. I just haven't got to them.
Yeah. Some people say that's sacrilege. Other people, like me, say, I mean, he's got a couple good books, but there's other stuff. But no, Brent Weeks. Did you ever read Brent Weeks?
I haven't yet either.
He's got, I don't know where it's at. It's up there somewhere. The Black Prism series, like these are chonkers, like 800 some odd pages. It reads so much like a textbook, the magic system, and I'm like, nope, not doing these books. Like I DNF'd partway through book 2. I was like, I can't do any more of this. Cool magic system, but it's like I don't want to read a textbook. I'm with you. Like let's just have fun with magic.
Well, in the Kane legacy, though, shifting into a dragon, that's so. Is this unique to this character? Because
yes,
okay.
It's because of like his heritage. So like his mother was human, and then his father was a dragon mage, and some dragon mages have the ability to assume the form of other people that inhabit the world. So that's kind of how he came about. But because there was magic involved in that union, he's got this ability to shift.
Okay, so that's a very unique situation. So it wouldn't be something that someone else in your world would be able to emulate.
Right.
Okay, that's very cool. Bill, do you have any other questions about the books you've read?
I read Serpentis. And I have Exile, or actually, I have the first 3 of Kane Legacy because you put them on sale not long ago, and I took. But Serpentis, I loved it. It was, I mean, a lot of people know my usual aversion to first-person point of view. Not a big fan, but this book, as you said, 100% had to be first person because it's not an easy
I don't
book.
think it would have had the emotional impact if it wasn't
No.
in first person.
And it's one of those like I went in expecting something completely different, and the story I got like surpassed it by a lot, which was awesome. So congratulations, because like it starts off, and this is not a spoiler or anything. It starts off with an invasion, right? And this main character is like the cover drew me in right away with these little war hammers he's carrying and stuff, and you get the invasion, but then like you go in thinking, oh, it's just going to be like this giant traditional fantasy stuff, and no, it goes into a very different path. And I love this story, and like it saddens me that like not a lot of people are reading this as opposed to your other stuff, because this is really good book, really good book.
Thank you. Yeah, I've had a few people mention there's that one part in midway through the story, and I've had a few people tell me that they got to that point and then they had to go and do something else in process, and I was like, that's exactly what I was going for.
Wow.
There's a scene that something happens, no spoiler, and it's just like, okay then, take a break.
Oh wow, that's pretty powerful. Like to have that kind of effect on your reader to make them go, "Oh
No, that's what you should want, though. That's
no,
what
no,"
you're going
and
for,
that's what I mean.
you said. You know, if this was told in third person, it wouldn't have that same hit.
Okay, yeah. So you mentioned then more people need to be reading Serpentis. More people need to know about this. Um, I guess that kind of leads into a question I have about being an indie author. Like how's that going for you? Like what are you doing? You mentioned going to a Comic-Con.
Mhm.
And are you doing that kind of stuff? Are you setting up booths at places? Are you
Yeah, so I've done several Comic Cons now, and I actually just got approved to go back to the one in Casper. It's in October this year.
oh wow.
Those are super fun events because the Comic Con crowd, they are usually really big into fantasy anyway. And then you'll see people in costume and you get to interact with them that way, and that's always fun too. Um, but I was excited to go back to the one in Casper because, believe it or not, that was my best sales show so far. Like, people in Wyoming like books, which is really cool. I had one person, I've never had this happen before, but she came up and she's like, "Oh, fantasy books. I want one of that and that and that." She bought one of everything. It was the coolest
That's
thing ever.
awesome.
So,
That is really cool.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's like probably my favorite part of the sales bit of being an indie author. The social media thing, like I do what I can when I have the energy, but I don't usually.
Nobody like we have yet to talk to somebody. I have yet to talk to somebody like in just even on social media. Nobody likes social media. That the marketing part that is so draining, so time consuming.
Yeah, Um so you're with the Comic Con, so like that's really cool that you're doing that because you get to interact with people. Social media is not really people you're interacting with. It's
Right.
Yeah,
it's well
sending it out into ether, and hopefully it.
Hopefully people see it.
Well, more people need to see Serpentis. If Bill is giving it high praise, it's good. Yeah, he doesn't.
I am giving it 2 major thumbs up. That was such a good book.
Well, thank you.
That's high praise. So well let's wrap it up then. We have 2 more questions to ask you if you're ready
Okay.
for it. Are you
Sure.
ready? Let's see. I saved it this time. We have a 4 and a 6. So which one's gonna go first? Let's see.
Purple Pokeball.
Oh, 4. All right. We're gonna ask you the key question. I have no idea what this one is.
Oh, I do.
Oh, Bill, you read this. This is a you question.
What is the gnarliest thing you've tested in your microbiology lab?
Oh, okay. I mean, I could go 2 ways with, or really 3 ways with this question.
Good.
So before my last couple jobs, I used to work in a clinical lab for a while, and we did testing for organ and tissue donation. So it was a really important job. You know, we're making sure that the stuff going into patients is not going to harm them with whatever microbes are there, or hopefully there's not in some cases, but you know, humans are full of bacteria, so it's hard to eliminate everything.
Yep.
But that job, I probably had the scariest organism I had to deal with, and also the smelliest. They were 2 different things. As far as like gnarliest in terms of appearance, that's probably come from environmental monitoring samples at my current job. So
what I'm going to be the nerd here because I work for a company that does food microbiology and chemistry.
okay.
So I'm familiar with that type of stuff. Like, we do Listeria, Salmo, and, the basic stuff. So what type of environmental are you talking about?
It came from the clean rooms.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. I know what you're talking about. So
No,
that's the
thank
nerd.
you.
You're welcome, Dewey.
Yeah, thank you for not showing it at least. But have you ever come across a tardigrade?
Not that I know of.
Oh.
I don't know if they would grow on auger plates very well. I don't know. They're pretty
Okay.
resilient though, so they might.
They're so cute. They're like little bears. Like
We they have an episode of, you remember the Magic School Bus?
Mhm.
They have like a new series where why can't I think of the name? The SNL actress, Kate McKinnon, the one that does the great Hillary Clinton impression. She's the new the teacher. I can't think of her name.
Miss Frisbee or something.
Yeah.
Or something.
Frizzle.
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 Yeah.
Okay.
She's Frizzle's, like the original Frizzle's sister, but they did that. And there's an episode of Tardigrade, and it's funny that you bring that up because like there was a whole episode where they're getting chased by a giant tardigrade in space, and it's like great episode.
That's cool.
And Bill has kids. So
young kids. So
yeah.
uh,
Although I would be really impressed if you just watched that on your own because
I mean, I loved the Magic School Bus when I was younger.
That's what I was gonna say. I would do that. I love it's nice and relaxing to watch. All right, let's see.
This last question will be a good ender.
Oh yeah. Give us a self-published author hot take.
Oh.
Absolutely, though, Trinity. Yes, hot take is up. Or hot take is out, really.
I guess like the only thing I can think of right now is there's a certain font that is used on so many book covers, and I am so over that font, and I wish people would use different fonts.
Can you say the font?
I don't know the name
I'm a
of it.
fontaholic, so go ahead and say the font.
I don't know the name of it. I just see it all the time, and I wish people would use the fonts sometimes.
It's probably because it's like one designer that uses that on, and a lot of people use that designer, probably, right?
That would be my guess.
I have a feeling I know what it is. Not the font. I don't know the names of fonts, but I think I could. I know the style you're thinking of, but I'm not going to say it because I don't want to.
Yeah, I don't want anybody getting mad at me.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I'm not going to say it either. But I think I know what you're talking about. Yeah, you're right. I wonder why that is. I don't know.
Like my other thought on that was maybe it was something that was in Canva or one of those programs that they're using a lot. So I don't know.
Could be.
Yeah. Yeah. one year, well, last year, not 1 year, last year, one of the big graphic design fonts that you would see everywhere is one called Proxima Nova. I don't know if you've ever seen that one. You probably have.
I've probably
And
seen it. I don't know. I don't know the name of fonts except for the ones on my book covers because I saved those for marketing purposes.
Well, look it up, and you'll be like, "Oh, yeah, I see that everywhere." Yeah, it's the go-to font that all corporations and people are using because it got popular in Canva. So Canva pushed that one out. Anyway, that's my addendum to your hot take. Stop sharing. There we go.
So that was a good finish. So AJ, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me. This was fun.
Before we go, if you have anything you would like to say, or show your books, or do whatever, this is for you to market yourself, if you will. So, floor is yours.
I have 10 books available, 2 different series that are complete, The Kaon Legacy and The Relics of War. Serpentis is an awesome book, and you should check it out, please.
Yes.
And Wraith and the Revolution is coming out in June. So
I'm looking forward to that one.
And don't forget Hunted.
See, I'm really bad about remembering that.
If you like urban fantasy, don't forget Hunted. Go check that one out. That was awesome. Well, so thank you, AJ. I think we're going to wrap it up. Anyone in the chat have any questions? Whoever's still there.
Tim, hold on. One last question. Tim wanted me to ask you a question.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I forgot to bring it up. Come on now. Which book in the Kaon Legacy was the hardest to write, and why?
I think Guardian was probably the hardest to write because the main character, Andrew, he's assisting his brother as his brother goes through the mage journey, but it's told from Andrew's perspective. So that one was probably the most difficult. Whereas the other 3, like, the focus is really on Andrew and the people immediately with him.
Gotcha.
Andrew,
I hope that answers your question, Tim. If you're still okay. He said Harbinger.
I wonder why that is. Maybe he's thinking about the ending. I'm not going to say what happened at the ending.
No.
And no spoilers. No spoilers. All right. Well, AJ, thank you for joining us. This was fun. Blast having you. Thank you to everyone in the chat who joined us and whoever might watch this replay. Again, in the description below is the links to AJ's books. Go ahead and get them, grab them, support these wonderful self-published authors we talked to, especially AJ, because she is awesome and a big proponent for the indie community. She is so awesome. So we are a Schmudgeon of Curmudgeon. We'll see you next time, and we will awkwardly wave until